Hi everyone, this is Janet Adams from Bald Eagles Naturally. And if you pause the video to read the comment that I posted, you will know that yes, in this video I do believe what we are seeing is the First Lady. Now, don't be all uptight or whatever. I'm not changing my opinion of the video that I posted earlier or last month, I think it was. I still hold by my opinions there that that was not the First Lady. It's possible that a new female took up residency for a short time, but in this video I'm here to tell you this is the First Lady. I've examined the close-up pictures and I believe that when you see them that you will agree with me. So let's get on with it. The First Lady flew to the nest, as you saw as I was talking, and brought a catfish that she is now consuming. I periodically will stop and take like screenshots of what I think are interesting pictures, including pictures of the eyeballs of the catfish. Okay, that's kind of gross, but I guess that's kind of my gross sense of humor. Anyways, she hasn't finished the whole catfish, but she's feeking her beak. She's going to jump over here to the lateral branch. And when I first saw this and was recording it, I had some doubts whether this was the First Lady or not. She seemed rather nervous, which is not typically her behavior. She doesn't normally look nervous, but I noticed when she was eating, she was looking around a lot. Here on the lateral branch, she's looking around, but she does finally settle in and seems to be her normal self. I noticed there's some dark patches underneath her white feathers, underneath her face, and I'm guessing that's due to molting. I don't want to think about what other things might cause that, but I noticed Mr. P also has some areas like that. It almost looks like there's missing feathers, but this is the season for them to be molting. And still looking at the First Lady. We haven't gotten to the real good close-up pictures yet, so I'm just kind of narrating a little bit of stuff that I see. She's going to feek her beak again. And of course, this whole time I'm like, get some close-ups, get some close-ups. Yelling at my laptop never has done me any good because nobody listens to me. The First Lady here has settled down. She's not looking around quite as much. You'll see she's got one foot or leg tucked up underneath her, and she's resting on one leg. And now for some close-ups. So here we are. We're going to get ready to see some really nice close-up pictures when it becomes focused. Now, my first observations when I saw these were that the iris, the yellow part of the eye, wasn't dark enough. But I think a lot of times it depends on the light that is available. But you can clearly see here that there are spots in the iris. This is a picture I got from a website It's called Larry of eaglesforkids.com, and it was done up by someone, it looks like, called Elf Ruler from 2013. It's frequently available on the internet, and it gives the different parts of the face of the bald eagle. And I like to show pictures like this so when I'm talking and using words, you'll understand the part of the eagle I'm talking about. So this picture is a side-by-side. The picture on the left is the current June 11th picture, and the picture on the right is from 2017, and that's the same picture that I used in my previous video on the First Lady. So the first analysis is on the eye. And as I said earlier, the iris, which is the light yellow part of the eye, looks somewhat similar in both pictures. I think the lighting is also somewhat similar. The only thing that is just a tad different is the suborbital ridge that is like the eyebrow. It kind of hangs out over the eye a little bit. And in the first pic, or the current June 11th pic, the yellow is not quite as bright as it is in the 2017 picture, but it is still there, and it's approximately the same shape. The next thing I am looking at in my analysis is the gape and the lower part of the mandible. Now, I've circled in an oval the area I'm looking at. I also measured from the back of the gape up through the eye, and an arrow that points to that little dark kind of ridge that kind of goes up and down, kind of like a mountain peak. And then if you look at the other picture, you will see the same thing circled, the measurement of the gape to the distance in the eye, and the purple arrow pointing to the same spot. So if you look at those two, compare them side by side, I think they are very similar, if not the same. The only difference here is the dark spots on the lower in the current picture were not there in 2017, and I'm not sure what those dark spots are. They could be scratches of some kind. I just don't know, but I've never seen those before, so I don't think those are something that is there all the time, but we should certainly look at that and keep those marks in mind as well. Next, I looked at the nares. The angle of the head is not exactly the same, but what I tried to look at was the distance between the bottom or the shaded part of the nare to the outline between the cere and the beak, and the overall shape of the nare. And I believe that they're very similar in shape, maybe not exactly, but it could be because the angle's a bit different. But certainly they look very similar, and the distance and everything, I believe, are close enough. So those are the main things that I looked at when making my determination. The indentations on the top of the cere, you can't really see very well on either picture. The current picture, the June 11th, the lighting isn't very good. You can see that there's at least one indentation. Like I've said previously, the First Lady has about 4 or 5 indentations on the top of her cere. And even in the 2017 picture, that's not a good indication. She's dirty because she's been in the rain. So it's difficult to even see those. So I didn't really look at that in particularly. I was looking at more other things that were very specific. So you can look at the rest of the pictures as we're going through here and check out. They've got some really cool close-ups. You can see a few of the dark feather colorings that the First Lady has on top of her head, and then down at the nape of her neck feathers. It's not really good picture, but you can see a few of those. I actually, they've pulled away from the camera a bit, but the little yellow piece that you see inside the nair or the nostril, I just learned something new today, and that is a bone type structure that when the bird is flying, it keeps the wind from going too much into their nostrils or their nairs. Interesting. I didn't know that. I think that it's fair to say over time an eagle is likely to change, sometimes maybe substantially. I don't know that they change drastically. I just think that when it comes to identification and trying to tell who is who, it's important to look at more than just one thing. Now there's a picture of the uneaten portion of the catfish. And this is Mr. President. He just flew in with a fish, a live fish. And I have never seen him do this. This was another thing that when I first saw this, I was like, okay, the First Lady didn't eat all of the fish. That's unusual. And then she comes flying in, and Mr. President mantles over his fish catch. And doesn't sound like he's very happy that the First Lady has flown in and appeared to want his fish. So there was not really a tussle or anything, but he obviously had his feathers up and he was not happy, and so he's like, okay, I'm going to leave. And she says, okay, I'm going to follow. And then in this last clip, you'll see there's a circle there. If you watch in that area, you'll see some white coming in. I have no idea who this is, the First Lady, Mr. President. They land on the overhead branch, so we'll never know who it is. Anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm glad to see that the First Lady is back at the nest, and let's hope that things will continue in that respect. And I hope we see some eggs next season. Time will tell. Thanks for watching. See you later.